Hey everyone, welcome back again. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I'm sorry I haven't been doing any videos recently, but let's jump back into this. Um, I went ahead and cut up my pattern here from my old, from that little form that we did. So now we have all the pieces we need to make ourselves a pattern for the foam piece that goes inside, right? And it's everything in here has been cut out to do that. So now we have that. We could just leave that on the side because we're not going to be doing that today. Today I was actually going to make a pattern for this guy, for the top part. You know, make sure that I keep a record of this style and look for this mouse head. But something was really bothering me, and I really debated with myself on what I should do next. So basically, what I was dealing with was this profile here that we had for this mouse head. It's very pointy cheekbone right here. See that? How on the side it's just like an arrow, and I could not deal with that, especially with one that I currently have now. If I could pull him, there we are. Look at this little guy. So this guy, back up. All right. So this poor little guy. Look at this. Look at this beautiful cheekbone. Look at how round that is right there. So it's so nice. So this is exactly what I wanted to try to do, or try to implement for this new head, or at least for the head that I want to work on. So how do we do that? There's plenty of ways you can do that. You can cut this whole thing out, and you can try to form it the way you want and mark it the way you need to. And then if you don't have any sewing machine, you can use hot glue. And that's what I would have suggested a while back. But now I'm going to go with a method that I've been seeing online, and it's called the ladder sewing technique. And you can see it right there. I went ahead and fixed this guy's side. And you see how rounded that looks now? Oh, wow. Look at that. See how rounded that looks right there? And you can do this without cutting anything into there. I'll show you what we'll do right now. So the front profile looks pretty good too, like that. But as you can see, when we start turning the side, we're going to fix that right now. So let me go ahead and show you what you're going to need. Alright, what you're going to need is an X-Acto blade or a pair of scissors. It doesn't matter which one it is. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take this guy off from the template head here, and we're going to cut an incision inside to take out some cotton in here. Because this one at least is full of cotton, but if it was made out of foam, you'd just do the same thing. You would go on the inside, trim it out, and take out the piece of foam so that this isn't so bulky in here. Because what we're trying to do is we're trying to eliminate this whole section here and make it as round as possible. And so we'd be getting rid of some things that are in our way here. So let's go ahead and look and open this up so I can show you what's inside. Come on, just gotta open up. Now that we removed it, as you're gonna see, now that we removed it, we're gonna go ahead and look inside here in the cheek area. Now this is what I did with my side on this other one, the one that I did fix, is I just created a small incision and I was able just to pull out the foam right inside that. So we'll do that now. So I'm gonna use an X-Acto knife because I have it, but otherwise you can use some scissors and just make an incision. It doesn't matter how big or small it is. All we're trying to do is remove the foam or the cotton within that area. This one's using a stuffing, so we're just going to go ahead and remove enough so that our cheek is less dense in that area. You see this right here? I'm just removing enough cotton in that corner there. I'm reaching in, I'm using my fingers, and I'm pulling out the cotton out of there so that it's less thick and we can actually start sewing that down. So, and I think that's about enough. So I put a pretty good amount of cotton out, and that's going to leave this area here nice and flat. And this is exactly what we want to do. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put this guy back onto the head so that we can do our markings to see how much of this area we're going to remove here. Okay? Yeah. All right. So we got this head back on. So we're going to do exactly what we did on this side. Round it off the sides here with this guy. And now that we put it back on, you can see that it's a little empty in this area, which is perfect. We definitely want that. And we want to give this a round look, right? Just like our other side, we want to give this a round look. I'm going to use just a regular ballpoint pen, And the markings on this fabric we're not going to worry about because we're going to be sewing over it later. So I'd prefer going with a ballpoint pen or a pencil if you can make a mark dark enough to know where you need to put your thread at. And yeah, so the whole point is to give that round shape, right? So I don't want this point anymore, so I'm just going to put my finger down right here of where I want it. You can also use another pen or something that is, you know, you don't want to mark with, so you just kind of put it down like that. And you see there's already a roundness coming around because of it, so I'm just going to start marking it with my pen. Just like that. And I'm just giving it a general idea of where I want to start putting my, where I want my stitching to start. You don't really have to do any markings on the black portion of this because your start point for your thread and needle for this ladder stitching is you're going to start from the top here, and then you're going to go straight across, come up, go straight across, come up, straight across, come up, straight across, and you're just going to continue to do that until all of this is filled in. And every time you pull on it, it'll pull this back to the part you need it to be. So we just want to make sure that we're getting this round look and feel right here. And we just made our markings, as you can see there, because we don't need any of this point right here. So if we do it right, everything's going to be pulled in like this, and it's going to give us a nice round look and feel. So let's go ahead and get our needles ready. So all you're going to need is a needle and thread. I mean, this is basic stuff. The same place you would go to like a craft store or to a home or to like Walmart. Walmart's going to have all their craft stuff in one aisle. So the place you would usually get your hot glue gun and your glue sticks, you just go around the corner there, and you'll get yourself a nice black thread and a needle. So what I did is I threaded the needle in, and I'm using this white piece of paper here for to show you, so you can see the thread. But so I'm using black because we're going to be going through the fabric in the black side, and we're just going to be stitching it through. But I doubled the thread, as you can see. Oops, there you go. And you want it long enough to kind of be as long as your arm, I guess, with the thread. And it doesn't have to be that long. It's just it makes it easier to for you to kind of keep sewing, and then have enough room to knot it at the end. So I made it long enough so I can see at the ends here. What we're going to do is we're going to tie a knot into it. So just take, and that's what I'm saying. This is why it's long enough so I can actually I can use my big fingers here and kind of grab it around and make it myself a knot. So that's one knot. Boop. And I'm going to do it again. Man, I am so not a seamstress or anyone who could say that I do this for a living. I'm a hobbyist at best, and so there you go. So I got my double knot right there, and there's a reason we're doing this, so that it's just as strong, double the thread strength, which is great. Look at that. Ta-da! So now we are going to go ahead and peel this guy back off. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Yeah, so now that we got this guy off, look at him. Now we peel him off. We're going to go back to and focus on this corner here. We're going to start at the top of the head. We're going to start at the top of the head here, and we're going to work our way down until we completely finish off this seam here. And as you can see, the pin marking is very raggedy and not straight, but it doesn't matter because we're going to go ahead and straighten up with our needle point. We're going to have the skill to do this. Look at this. So we're going to put it right through his cheek. That's got to feel good. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm not going to attack it this way. I'm not going to go from the top down. I'm going to go from the inside because I don't want this giant knot at the very end to stick out from this side here. So I'm going to go and reach on the inside here and poke my finger. That's part of it. You have to do that. No, please don't do that. Please be as safe as possible. Don't do this near your face or your eyes. Just get enough so that you can see what you're doing. I'm going to try to do it. I'm my best camera work as I possibly can. So here we go. So as focused as his knot is, let me see if I can get that in there. Boom. So I now pulling it right through I want to get as close to the seam as possible right there. And that's going to be right at my beginning point. I'm going to feed it through and feed it back in, because all I want to do is make sure that it's knotted on the other side. So I pushed it right back through. I'm going to reach around. Give it an old reach around, you know what I'm saying? If you're a kid, don't worry what that means. And then we'll go ahead and what I'm trying to do here is I'm going to go straight down the middle between my two double lines that I have here. Boom. And I'm going to pull through it. This will help with the knot because it's knotted on both sides now. It won't leave that. Me use words good. It's now going to be knotted on this side, so now I can feed it back in from the inside. I'll feed it back through that same seam right there, and show it on camera so make sure it's true. Boom, right there. And now we can start our ladder. So I'm going to pull through. Whoop. Make sure everyone can see this. Bam. Okay. So now I'm going to start doing my ladder move right here. So here I'm at the top where my black's at. And that's solid there. So now I'm going to go straight across to this side, to my skin side. If I actually show it again. Boom. Okay. And so I'm going to feed it through, and I'm just going to pop it right up into it. Ta-da! Just like that. So you're just going to go straight across, and you're going to pop it back up and in, and you're going to pull it out. That's one step of the ladder. Now you're going to go straight across to the other side of the fabric. And then push it through. See that? And we're just going straight across. And pull it through. See? I tighten it up. Here, let me loosen it, and I'll tighten it back up. Boop. I'm more on the black side, so I'm on this side. It's really easy. If your thread's on one side of the fabric, you're just going to go straight across the other side. Feed it through. You're going to go down. You see where other threads are at. Let me see if I can get that on camera, because I am a great camera guy. There you go. And I'm going to pinpoint it. Let's right there. And then follow my line that I made. Let's there you go. And then feed it through. And you're just going to continue to do that. Go back from one side, go up, next side, go up, next side, go up, next side, go up. So I'm going to show you the progress once I get to here, okay? So I'm going to do some movie magic here. Yeah, look at that. So I just went ahead and continued it. I didn't pull on it, so I'm going to keep going here, and then I'll show you what it looks like when I pull on it a little bit. Now you don't have to pull on it all the time. You can do exactly what I'm doing here, where you're kind of seeing how far you're going, and then if you do want to start pulling on it, you can. And I'm just tugging on it. Boom. Look at that. It's already curving in the direction that we want it to do. And so now I'm going to keep finishing up. I'm going to look for that line here that I have in this, and I'm going to keep pinpointing it exactly and keep doing the ladder back and forth until it's all completed. So I'll be right back. Here is the second shot of it. I'm going to go ahead and pull on it. Just like that. I tightened it up. There you go. Yeah, I still had a little bit more tug on that, so I went ahead and did that because I was starting to see it over here on this side. So I just tugged on a little bit more, and it filled it in right there. So now I'm going to go ahead and finish it up here. I just poked myself in the finger, but I'm a man, so I'm just going to deal with that. And I'm going to finish up this line right here. Okay. Hey, so I'm coming up to the end here. And I'm going to go ahead and finish it up now that I've completed this whole cheek here. I'm going to just tug it on just a little bit so I tighten it up. And now I'm going to finish up by making a knot here. So once you're done, and you're going to make your last little threads piece in here, go ahead and you're going to go back into the black area because you're going to be making your knots in this. You're going to feed it through. And so I fed it through all the way down to the bottom, and I'm going to feed it back in right at the same spot that my thread's at, because I'm just going to make a couple of knots in here. So there it goes in. And I'm going to feed it through. Whoop, I'm losing my guy. There he is. Okay, so I fed him through. See, so I got my hoop here. If I could show you. There it is. I got my hoop here. And I'm going to go ahead and feed it through here. Inside of it. So I make my first knot. Boom. And I'm going to do that 2 more times. So I'm going to go down and up. There you go. Down and up. Release like that. Feed it through. Make my second knot. And 1 more. I'm going to feed it through. Just like that. Push through. Push it back up. And feed it through. There we go. Made my 3 knots. Now I should be done there. So that's nice and tight. So then all you got to do now is feed it back down in the same spot, same little spot there. Feed it through, and then go further out. You know, it doesn't matter how far you go out. You want to go further out, and you want to pop that guy through. Whoop. You see how far that is right here? The reason why is because we're feeding this. We're going to feed all this thread back inside, like that. And all you have to do now is cut this right here. And I'm going to grab my these scissors here. Here we go. So you can't see it because it's really dark, black on black. That's a great thread I used here. So I fed it through. It's about 1 inch out. I'm going to go ahead and cut it off from that area. Boop. And now that thread is no longer seen because it's actually on the inside right there. There you are, right there. There's the little thread. That's the thread on the inside. So you can trim that up if you want, but all that stuff is now knotted in. See? And now we've got a rounded cheek. Something that you can be proud of. Something you can show your mom and say, look what I did. Get the camera. Look what I did. So now we're going to go ahead and put this guy back on onto the our little foam head thingy here and see what that looks like all together. Okay. So let me go ahead and try that. Let's see. And there we go. We now got 2 soft looking cheeks, rounded on each side here. Now this is a template I definitely want to go with. I want to start working on. It's getting there. I mean, I definitely want to fix this nose too. So what was the whole point about this whole ladder threading nonsense I was working on here, and why I wanted to do it for the cheeks? Well, for one, aesthetically, this looks closer to what I wanted to get to, but also when we start working on the nose, we're going to have to get rid of this pointiness right here that we have with this version, because I wanted a little more rounded like I just did with this guy. And now that we know how to do that, we can start messing with its proportions so that we can get a better nose inside, a better curve for the nose. And let's say you mess up or something gets ripped, like let's say right here, with all that pulling and tugging that I've been doing, I've ripped a huge gash within the side here. Well, I'm not worried about this, because what eventually I'm going to do is I'm going to cut straight in this guy, and to get the jaw movement in there, I'm going to need extra fabric for there. So I'm going to be giving this some slack, adding more fabric in here, and while I do that, I'm going to go ahead and fix this too. And you can just fix it. You can fix this the same way you did that with a ladder technique. You just start from one side and start pulling in, pull it in until it starts to mend into one piece. So, you know, there's a purpose to all this craziness that I'm doing. I'm not trying to not get us to what we want to see, which is the actual mouth movements technique and how to build all that out. These are all the things that you have to consider when making this, and I want to make sure that if you bought this version of the head and you want to make customizations to it, or you want to make additions to it, this is the best way of doing it. It avoids hot glue, so if you store this in a hot place, it's not going to start melting on you or start leaking or coming apart. That's the biggest issue that most mascots have, is that things start peeling apart when they start using glues or adhesives. So I want to make sure that whatever we do for this, at least it's going to be permanent, or it is going to last a longer time. So until the next time, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make a pattern for this guy. I'm gonna skip the nose until next time. Let's get the mouth thing going, then we can move on from there. But I'm gonna go ahead and make a pattern for all this, and then for the next video, so I can show you how that's going to work. And then we'll cut that pattern out, and then we can start cutting out the mouth. All right, we'll see you guys.